Hello everyone, it is so good to see you. Welcome to another GVG discussion. I am Daniel Alba, your host today, and I am joined by my lovely friend, Brandon Miracle. Hello Brandon, how you doing?
Hi, it's good to be here, and I'm ready to talk about them Mons.
I have so many Mons to talk about right now. Pokemon Legends ZA came out just the other month. The DLC for Mega Dimensions came out not too long ago. We've all had our fair fill of Pokemon, I believe, by this point. So we're going to dive into pretty much a discussion talking about the entire game. We'll talk about spoilers later on. We will give a warning if anybody over there on the other side has not gone to the very end of the game. But to start off, I wanted to start real quick. This is the second Legends game. Pokemon Legends Arceus came out a few years ago now, and I'm just curious real quick, what were your overall thoughts of Pokemon Legends Arceus and that overall turn that the Pokemon Company took with the series?
Well, if you remember our Game of the Year videos from a few years ago, the year that game came out, you would know that it was my favorite Pokemon game of all time. By a pretty wide margin.
Was this the first Pokemon game where you actually completed the Pokedex?
It was. I have now completed the Pokedex in 2 games, Daniel.
I wonder what the other one could be.
Yeah, I loved Arceus.
Oh yeah, I love the whole that open world mechanic that we have now with this seen in a bunch of games nowadays. But being able to just explore the world, just kind of interact with Pokemon a bit more organically in the world of Hisui. That was the world's name. And for sure, that's something that we wanted to keep going into Legends ZA. But of course, going into Legends ZA, there's been a lot of talk about the structure of the game. We went from a giant open world to explore with Pokemon inhabiting every inch of it to just the city of Lumiose. And I was wondering, real quick, your thoughts on the minimalization of going from the big open world of Hisui to just one city.
I mean, I'll admit that this was probably my biggest concern going into the game, and I think that was the case for a lot of people. I think in the end it worked, but I feel like it did shed some of the vibe from the previous Legends game. Like when I was out in the wild catching Pokemon in the first Legends, I really felt like I was a Pokemon trainer traversing the world and experiencing Pokemon in their natural habitat. And they've basically gone a complete 180 for this game, which I think on its own is a good call, not just repeat what they already did. But I think overall, I probably prefer the approach in Arceus than I do here. There were still some surprising moments. I remember my face lighting up the first time I encountered a Trubbish because it was on top of a garbage can. And it made the world feel lived in that sense. But I think one thing Arceus does better with the Pokemon in the world specifically is there are a lot of nooks and crannies and hidden places in the zones in Arceus where you'll find specific Pokemon, and the sense of discovery of those moments is much higher for me there. And I didn't get that as much here, but again, I don't think that was really what they were going for anyway.
Yeah, I think they were definitely trying to just kind of change the experience so that it wasn't just exactly the same thing all over again. There are some people that have made a lot of vocal opinions about the fact that it's not anywhere near the scope that we had with Legends Arceus. But no, that's true. There isn't really as many places to look. I mean, it is just a city. There's only so many things you can do and so many stretches of the imagination you can make here. I still think it's really silly that there's a specific one area that is just covered in ice and snow, and you just have to kind of suspend your belief that winter is just perpetually in this one location.
There's also that one. It's one of the early wild areas, I think it's the one with Pikachu and Pyroar and Skiddo. There's like a tower in there that has a door that teleports you to the top, and it's the only interaction in the entire game that's like that. I'm like, why is this here?
Oh yeah, that was for a side quest that I took forever to beat because I had no idea you could go up there and complete the side quest that way. Just some things that the game doesn't tell you.
Yeah, I remember like I went up there the first time I was in that zone, and I was like, I don't know why this is here.
Why aren't there more areas like this? There's only so many areas in the game that you can do that to. Like, there's the whole open area of Lumiose, of course, but I think the only other place you can really go, well, there are two other places. Like, there's the cafe, quote unquote, and there's also the sewers. Mm-hmm. And that's like the only time you ever actually explore a like dungeon, that the kind of Pokemon style of dungeon. Even the map looks a lot more like that because it's very angular and linear.
Yeah,
but we don't get that a lot. It's just Lumiose. They let you run mostly free. The wild areas, the wild zones, slowly unlock as you play the game. But you're a bit limited at first. It feels like.
It doesn't help that in that first few hours, and this is probably the game I'm most critical. The part of the game I'm most critical of, is you're basically handcuffed to Tawny or Urbane, and they won't let go. You can't do anything that you want to do for like the first 2 hours, and it's really painful.
I got words for our rival in this game for the things they do and the decisions that they make. But yeah, it just felt like a lot of people's first impression was that it was just so handholdy. Like you couldn't do anything. Like, I remember I wanted to run around and break some crystals, and Tanya was like, no, we gotta go this way and do this. And there's, like, the illusion of choice in your dialogue options throughout the entire game. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't, I can't deal with this, man.
Yeah, like, I think Scarlet and Violet had the same problem, where that, like, opening hour or two, like, every 10 steps you take, oh, now you're watching a cutscene or listening to a conversation, and it's like, this game is supposed to be about openness and doing what you want, and it won't let me. You know, one of the things that makes Breath of the Wild so good is that game starts, you wake up in the Shrine of Resurrection, you open the door, you get on your clothes, and that's it. The training wheels are off after that.
You just immediately go without much else to do, or you just immediately go without any kind of like direction at that point. But that was the point of that game. Pokemon, it just needs so much context that I don't really think it needs at this point. But also,
did we even really get context?
Not really. You arrive in the city, you pretty much get involved in someone's TikTok, and then you're wrapped in someone's business to help save the entire city, and you're just like, oh yeah, you're like the chosen one, right? Essentially.
Bro, I don't even live here.
I'm just a tourist. What do you want from me?
I think there's like one mention that you might be on vacation. I don't know. That was in my mind for a long time, but maybe I invented a reason because I needed one.
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I tried to leave. Like, you have the option. Have you ever tried to leave Lumiose City?
It's so funny.
You go back to the train station and you get a bunch of dialogue options to say, you're gonna leave. Are you really sure you want to leave? You're gonna miss out on all these fun adventures, and you're gonna just say goodbye to your friends. And if you do keep saying yes, then the game fades out to black, and then it fades back in, and you're sitting on the bench, and you're like, wow, that would have been weird, wouldn't it?
I feel like I'm not going to get too far into details, but I feel like they're going to spin that somehow into being related to the plot of the DLC.
Oh my goodness. But I guess since we're talking about the characters, like, I do enjoy, for the most part, our little group, our merry band, with Lita, with Naveen, with AZ pretty much being our, well, not a leader, but someone that we're kind of, working under.
He's dad.
For Timsy. Yeah, he's very tall, tree man dad, essentially.
He is father. 3,000-year-old, 10-foot tall father. Yeah, I agree. I really like the group. I think I'm a little more positive on the rival than you are, but I think that mostly comes down to their design. I think this is one of my favorite rival designs ever. And it helps that the characters animate way more than they do in a typical Pokemon game. There's like little nuances added to their facial expressions that do a lot for the game. I know people, like, one of the big criticisms is like, oh, look at all the flat windows, flat buildings, meh. But I'm like, there's a lot of cool stuff they're doing here that they haven't done before with the visuals. And it makes me really like these characters. Like Lita, for example. When you get into a battle with her, she has this really kind of cool, like, dance move that she does before she poses. And I'm like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there feels like there's more character to these, characters this time around. Like Lita has her whole shtick with dancing and want to be a better performer. Naveen is a designer, which I think is really cool. Helps to design the logo that you're sporting the entire way for Team MZ. And I love how Naveen is just kind of just done most of the time, but is still there as a friend to help the team out whenever needed as well. And,
I love the kind of 180 they do with his character about partway through the game. When you find out that he's like a big fan of Canary, and he's like always watching her streams, and he's like the biggest fan, but he doesn't give that impression at all based on his personality.
That's true for all introverts. I can tell you right now, all the introverts out there, we have that one thing that we'll super fixate on, and when it comes up, we're very passionate about it. But no, it felt a lot more relatable at that point because, man, it's funny how much Pokemon has been incorporating modern culture, like streamer culture in particular. You had Iono with Scarlet and Violet, and you pretty much had that again here in a way with Canary as well.
Is every streamer in the Pokemon world going to be an electric trainer?
I guess.
Are we cursed?
I don't know. It felt like they said, let's try Iono again with Legend ZA. It was kind of funny.
I love Canary. I thought she was great, especially like when you beat her for the first time, and she just cusses in a Pokemon game, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Uh-oh, better not have been live for that one. Oh my gosh, no, it's Tarragon is her grandfather, and the reveal for what he does early on was really funny, I thought.
Yeah, it's so good. The whole thing with the construction company I thought was great, because at first, like, you meet the construction workers and they're like wearing her merch and whatnot, and I'm like, oh god, are these guys like simping over a child? But once you find out the reason they're doing that, I was like, oh, this is actually really wholesome.
They're just very supportive of what they're doing. And you meet a bunch of characters that they all kind of intertwine that way. Like Gwen later with the Justice Dojo also is a big fan of Canary. And it's just fun to see everybody kind of interconnect that way with the world and everything. Even though there's not that many new characters introduced with this. But the ones that are introduced, I think some of them are really fantastic.
Yeah, they kind of like fit the gym leader role in this game, but you never really just battle them once. You kind of battle them several times over the course of the game. And their teams and their, Pokemon kind of evolve alongside you. And usually only the rival does that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Lebony, is that her name? I wasn't sure how to pronounce it.
Leban? The maid?
The maid, yeah. She's a breakout character. I think everyone is going to love her. Because, like, she's really prim and proper on the outside because of, her job and her duties. But when she's allowed to let loose, she just becomes a monster.
Her expressions go crazy. She has the most dynamic posing in battle. I'm just like, whoa, there's just a lot more to this character than I thought.
Yeah, it's really good. And, I think a lot of people are really fans of Corbeau and Philippe.
Oh my gosh, that is my boy right there. He is like the best character that this game has introduced in this game.
I love that Corbeau is supposed to like be the stand-in for the Yakuza, but instead of doing terrible things, he does good things, but, like... You could debate how nice he is about it. He did extort a child for like $100,000 to do good deeds, without telling her that he would forgive the debt.
He does have that morally gray area at times. There was that. It was so funny. There was that one time where he was trying to get somebody off of someone's property, I think, and you're with Kerbo, and you just start a 2v1, completely unfair. But it's just so funny that he's the one that initiates you into a 2v1 against this poor guy who's definitely going to lose against both of you.
I also love his attendant, Felipe, because, like, he definitely seems like the more rough-edged of the two of them. Like, he kind of alludes to having a legitimately bad past compared to Corbeau. But, like, Corbeau kind of turned him around. As you know, I'm a big softie for the big, bulky dude who's actually a sweetheart. Like, that's my archetype. So, clearly I was going to love this guy. But, I don't know, it's just, like, the way he interacts with you, he kind of, like, opens up to you almost before Corbeau. And there's, like, this level of respect between you and him that I'm like, yeah, friendly rivals.
Yeah, I really love the Rust Syndicates. I thought they were a great addition. From the rough exterior to, like, Felipe saying something like, I can imagine being like, I'm going to need your help to take out the trash. And the trash is like, I don't know, a trubbish that's like on someone's property.
Actual garbage. I also love the Rust Syndicate's base being the one Japanese building in a French city.
I think it's just some more about this in the DLC that you learn, but I don't know. There's some connections that these characters have to other characters that I think kind of inspired and helped to influence some of these decisions that you see with some of the characters' personalities and whatnot. But
I think I know the moment you're talking about. I wasn't entirely sure if I was reading that correctly. I'll confirm that with you afterwards, but I was like, oh, okay. In general, the game does that pretty often, actually. I think the way this game connects to the broader Pokemon world is more open about that than the other games are, typically. Like, you have Emma, who's like a disciple of Looker, and there's just a picture of him on the wall in her office.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, the game's not pretending that these other events haven't happened. And I feel like I haven't felt that way since, Gen 2 from Gen 1.
Yeah, there's like a photo of Professor Sycamore somewhere. I think that's where Mabel's office is, and Mabel was another character from the X and Y as well, who's just kind of, stuck doing community work now. Yeah, I love how these connects. A lot of the plot lines connect with each other. I think a major component of that is AZ himself. Like, there is so much lore with, like, the Great War that happened way back then, and the Ultimate Weapon, and how things kind of connect in that way with other parts of the Pokemon universe. Like, there's some bits of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that talks about AZ just kind of in passing as well. I love it when these games start to connect with each other and, like, aren't just their own separate worlds. They are, in fact, one connected universe.
It also kind of, like, further canonized the remakes of Gen 3 over the originals. Because of that, I was like, oh, okay, this is where we're going with this.
Yeah, it's a whole crazy other discussion where, like, the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is like this alternate dimension or alternate timeline where Mega Evolution was discovered, and the original trilogy on the Game Boy Advance is where Mega Evolution was not discovered. So that's a whole other video, I think, at some point. But all that aside, we haven't even talked about the Pokemon themselves, and I'm curious, Brandon, who did you choose as your starter for Legends ZA?
My boy, Totodile.
Same here. I also chose Totodile. I named him Kresha in honor of the blue enemy you see in Donkey Kong Country. It was a very specific name. But no, I had to go with the Johto Pokemon. It's weird. I'm still thinking it's weird that there's two Johto and one from Unova, but I just made my decision easier to choose Totodile.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre but I mean, all three choices are still good. I named my Totodile Dino. He's a beautiful, almost dinosaur man. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the selection of Pokemon here. I know we're still kind of in a world where not every game's going to have every Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think the base Pokedex was like 230. So a pretty small, like, fraction of the actual, full dex. But I think there's a lot of great choices here. There's not a ton of overlap with, like, Arceus. So we get to have some different Pokemon. And before the DLC, there was very little from, like, Gen 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was pretty much none at all. Like, only just a very middling few. But, yeah, I think, it's definitely important that they pick Pokemon that hasn't been introduced in previous games. There's obviously going to be overlap, but having the new ones introduced into a Legends game is always very much appreciated. You have your staples, as always, but there's also ones where... you just haven't seen them in a long time, and even here, like, they got introduced with new Mega Evolutions. The return of Mega Evolutions was a big deal, in fact, and I had like my Feraligatr. I will mention it later, but the whole methods for shiny hunting kind of changed a bit, so I went out of my way to get a shiny Ralts for a Gardevoir, and then from there was just like I completed. Well, someone completed the Crocodile crew, getting a Crocodile as well, so that they can be partners. Like a Caesar. I wanted Halucha real bad because that's like my dad's favorite Pokemon, and it got a Mega Evolution, so it was even better. Glorious.
I think my final team was Feraligatr, Charizard. Don't at me, bro. I also had a Crocodile. Crocodile's one of my favorite Pokemon. Mawile, another one of my favorite Pokemon. Aurorus, which I'd never had before. And, oh god. Am I missing one?
They probably weren't important if you if you immediately forgot who
Well,
it
no,
was.
Mawile was originally like my rotating spot. Oh no, I'm forgetting Ampharos.
Oh yeah, classic. Yeah, I shamelessly had like a team mostly of Johto Pokemon because I had Caesar as well. I'm just a Johto boy.
Yeah, I cannot believe how many Mega Evolutions are in this game. Because, like, you compare it to X and Y, and they're like, oh, Mega Evolution is the brand new thing, and there's, like, less than 20 of them, I think. But this
There wasn't a lot.
There's over 60 Mega Evolutions. It's crazy.
And some of the ones they added are just incredible. We've all seen the trailers for some of the ones like Mega Victory Bell, which is still haunting my brain right now.
He's a big, happy water balloon. Except his water is poison, and you will die if you drink it.
As somebody who has suffered from acid reflux, I can't tell. I cannot see him as just a stomach with the little ring to keep all the acid in.
I've seen some slander about this one, but I will have none of it. I think Mega Starmie is beautiful and perfect.
Oh my gosh, with the extra long legs, it just became like partly a superhero.
And like
the way it runs.
Oh my god, the first time it ran, I started laughing out loud. Like, he's just moving. I love that he's one of the Rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon battles, because seeing a giant Starmie with long legs running like that was just incredible.
It was terrifying and amazing at the same time. And no, there's so many good Mega Evolutions made. I had humored the idea of once everyone's played more of the Mega Dimensions DLC to do like a Mega Evolution tier list real quick with somebody, because there's some really good ones here.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a miss in the bunch. I know like a lot of people weren't a fan so much of Mega Feraligatr, but I kind of like it a lot. it has that big fin that looks like a Totodile head, and it can't complete the look without using the spikes on its arm. I think that's really creative.
I thought it was cool. He's like a hungry hippo with the little thing coming down, just clamping down. But I love how when I realized the arms were also like the teeth sticking out for the full head, I thought it was just a really cleverly done design too.
Yeah, and it feels evocative of like animals that will camouflage themselves to make themselves look more threatening.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's just a good idea, and I think it works. Even if it's a little silly. Sometimes the sillier the better. Like Mega Phalanx.
They're just stacked on each other, and there's that poor one in the middle that has to like carry the major ones on the top, the head and the weapons.
He's struggling so hard, but he's doing it for the greater good.
And of course we have like Mega Dragonite, which just looks like a bigger shaped friend than before.
He's more friend shaped now, yeah. He's huggable. Yeah, there's a lot of great new Mega Evolutions in here. It feels like they actually like fulfilled on the promise of Mega Evolution this time. It's not so much a struggle to get a Mega Evolved Pokemon on your team. I mean, for me, like almost like 4 out of my 6 Pokemon Mega Evolved.
Yeah.
So they made sure that like you weren't going to get to the end of the game without having some options.
It's very much appreciated because I feel like I'm pretty bad at deciding who to have on my team because there's so many of the ones in this game that I like and I want to rotate around. It's become a lot easier to do so. Like, it's a lot easier to train Pokemon. You get candies, so many candies throughout the course of the game to help boost some of the ones that you might be lagging behind that you want to add onto your team. Especially if you're doing the DLC. That's super helpful to anyone that wants to build specific Pokemon. But no, I just had a really good time with this game. I know there are a lot of people that are very much down on it. They were kind of, I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to never be happy with what Pokemon does, honestly.
The thing that frustrates me about it is that so much of it was like based on the visual presentation. And I'm over here just happy I'm playing a Pokemon game in 60 frames per second.
Oh man, the jump to 60 frames per second was mind-blowing when we had that with Scarlet and Violet earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I wish I could play the whole game over again like this. And this is my first time playing a 60 FPS game like that. And it just feels so surreal at times to see it run this smoothly in the Pokemon world.
Yeah, it's such a boon. I'm so happy that it launched in the state that it did. We don't have to like make this conversation about how, oh, the game could be great if it worked, you know?
I'm so happy.
And it even performs well on Switch 1. Like, it's not 60 frames per second, but it's pretty consistently hitting 30. So, you know, even on the older hardware, it's not a mess. It works.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem I had with previous Pokemon titles is that there was just a lot of lag happening. There was just, the performance was just all over the place with games like Scarlet and Violet. It's crazy to imagine going back and playing that game in the state that it was beforehand with like its frame rate drops and the distance, draw distance. It might perform too well now. Like, there's parts of that game where you can appear in an area and there's like 20 Pokemon in one place. And I'm glad it's not that overwhelming. In Legends ZA, they've kind of found a good balance with Pokemon spawning in the areas around the place. And there's just some that just hang out. Like you said earlier, Trubbish on the garbage. You'll see little fletchlings sitting on the lamp, street lamps, like it would be in real life. It's very organic to see these Pokemon in the world now.
Take a shot every time you see a Kakuna stuck to a tree.
But speaking of these Pokemon, we should probably at least bring up the major thing that changed with this title is the battle system. We've gone from the turn-based system that we're so used to in every game and have changed it up, even more so than how Legends Arceus changed it up. It is now real-time. You can move around freely with your trainers. Whenever you initiate a battle, you have all your moves are on a cooldown. So when you use a move, you can see the diamond start to refill again, and you have to wait until that fills up to use the move again. So that means a lot of the moves in this game, they function differently than how they did in previous Pokemon games. I was wondering how you felt about the change in battle system for Legends EA.
I was a little unsure at first. Like, overall, I was excited at the prospect. But, like, in your very first tutorial battle, you have, like, Tackle and, like, Leer, I think. So without, like, a full set of 4 moves and a full stack of 6 Pokemon, it was kind of hard to tell from that point. I was excited, because being able to move around freely and, you know, call out moves, you know, it's the closest that we've ever been to, like, living out the anime. And for me, the anime was my exposure to Pokemon. Like, I didn't play the games first. I played the games after. So, like, Generation 1 of the Pokemon anime is, like, my default for what Pokemon is in my brain. And for the first time, I kind of got to experience that. And by the time I hit credits, I was a big fan. I think the system is really cool. The way the Pokemon will move to, like, that specific distance from you to your right whenever you call out a move. Like, once you understand that that's what's happening, you can start moving strategically throughout the battlefield. Mm-hmm. And, like, some of these attacks have longer windups, they have certain levels of range, and now you're dodging. And this is a whole different ball game for Pokemon.
Yeah, especially with you mentioned in the early game. I think people that did early previews of this game might have been a bit underwhelmed because, yeah, the early Pokemon game, it's not really that exciting. You're using like 2 or 3 moves until you start to really expand, even like a couple or a few hours in. But once you get into that groove, there's something really unique with this system, and it's not perfect. Like, there's definitely some things about it, of course, that could be improved upon. The positioning with Pokemon is something that I had some issues with going into it because, like, when you do a special move, as you mentioned, they kind of go into this specific area next to you before they execute said move. If you do a physical attack, usually they'll be just attack from wherever they are and just, you know, go up and close and personal with the Pokemon that you're battling against. But sometimes that was really hard to work with in, like, mostly rogue Mega Evolution battles, which is essentially like your boss battles of this game.
Right.
I had some difficulty with some of them simply because my Pokemon wasn't in the right position or was, you know, in line running into the Mega Evolved Pokemon that was attacking me directly.
It's funny. Like, I ended up having more, like, struggles in that department in the DLC than I did even in the main game. There's a clip that I haven't posted yet, but I'm in one of, like, the wormholes in Hyperspace Lumiose, and there's just, like, a set of scaffolding in one of the parts of the map, and I was sending my Charizard after a Pokemon. I don't remember which Pokemon it was, but he could not navigate the scaffolding. Like, the Pokemon I was attacking was in front of me, not behind the scaffolding. It was in front of me. And he flew into the scaffolding, behind the scaffolding, next to the scaffolding, everywhere but the front of the scaffolding. And he could not figure out how to position himself to make the attack. And I was just like, okay, you know, there's some stuff to iron out.
Yeah, there's certain places where the pathing is just not really optimal, and especially with elevation in any place that has, like, scaffolding with stairs and whatnot, it doesn't always function the way that we expect that it would. And I don't expect it to be perfect at all, but yeah, there's just some problems I've had with that I've noticed as well.
But overall, I think, like, the moment-to-moment battle gameplay is really good and a, you know, like, a really fresh take for the series, especially in online multiplayer where battles are not 1v1s, they're free-for-alls. I don't think this game works competitively 1v1, but in a free-for-all setting or even a 2v2 setting, I think it's perfect.
Those online battles are really funny, especially in the early game. Like, it was just everyone going after whoever was nearest to you, or if somebody was clearly in the league, we would all dogpile one character and just a bunch of Pokemon getting KO'd left and right because we're not you can't actually target anybody. If you use an earthquake, that's going to hit everybody around you.
That was me using Surf with my Feraligatr. Like, I would just watch a battle happen, and then once both Pokemon were low, I'd come in with a Surf and just score 2 points. I was like,
oh,
you know,
man.
In that early game, people didn't really understand, like, what the objective was.
me throwing Lucario out when someone's in the red and just hitting the extreme speed and sniping a KO from somebody, and then getting immediately dogpiled after.
It got
so
to the
frantic.
point like where people started, changing Pokemon during an attack so they'd avoid the damage, or even like Mega Evolve to avoid damage. Like the meta started growing very quickly.
Yeah, after just season 1, we have a bunch of people using very specific Pokemon, specific loadouts. There's a lot to that. I don't think it's meant to be taken as seriously as your usual competitive Pokemon. It's a free for all.
Yeah.
It's like the party game version, essentially, of your usual 1v1 battles that we're used to in the mainline games.
It's also a bit of a callback because X and Y originally had a battle royale mode, didn't it? Like a 4-person free for all.
I believe so. Yeah, I think that was the one that started that.
The only thing I would wish differently is that there was a way to like queue into 2v2 battles, because I think that's where the combat really shines the most. Which is funny because like that's how Pokemon is traditionally played. You even see that in the DLC, where like most of the like trainer encounters are 2v2 battles.
Yeah, you refight a lot of the ones that you've encountered throughout the story with a partner. They were randomly set up, well, not randomly, but they're like a specifically set up partner. And yeah, those 2v2s are really fun. I wish there were more of them in the main game as well.
Yeah, much like the free roam catching returned, I hope that this style of battle returns in the third Legends game, and that maybe we experiment with that a little bit more.
Yeah. But speaking of battles, the main hook for this game, or at least one of the main ones, when it goes from day to nighttime, is the ZA Royale, in which you're climbing the ranks to go from rank Z all the way to rank A. That's pretty much what your main goal is throughout the entire story, because once you reach rank A, you will get a wish granted to you. And so everyone's, just fighting it out, trying to get that rank before everybody else can. And there's a unique progression to that, because I think it was pretty much meant so that every time you go up a rank, you'll see more of the story flesh out a little bit more, bit by bit. I was wondering what you thought of like how they handled being that the anchor to like tie everything with the story and progression itself.
I liked once the training reels were off, I really started to enjoy it, because every time you do one of those story beats, you have to get another challenger's ticket to progress to the next rank. But like there's specific story beats that take place in between, but also the game doesn't like enforce any kind of time limit or anything on you. In between those big trainer battles, you can just go to the wild zones and catch Pokemon. You can casually do the battle royale at night without trying to rush to get a ticket. The game encourages you to take your time, and I really enjoy that, because that's what I complained about at the beginning, is the game like handcuffs you to Tawny and doesn't really let you do what you want. But here, like, the main story is more of a suggestion.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how that's how you get to meet most of the major characters, especially in the top half of the rankings, which definitely one of the more controversial parts is taking that whole mechanic of the ranking system and doing some narrative fidangling and saying, oh, you're going to skip half of the alphabet.
We skipped the filler arc.
Basically.
I understand why that might frustrate people, but I think the game was just as long as it needed to be, and dragging that out across 26 ranks would have been way too much.
Yeah, they would have to do a lot of balancing to like the story and things happening here and there to make that work. But going from that to the actual like top 6 or so letters of the ranking to meet these these high profile characters like Kanari and Corbeau and Jensine, I think is how you pronounce her name. That was that's probably what they had to do to not make this game last longer than it actually was.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I do think maybe it was a little weird for them to push the rank system in the like pre-release hype a little bit, because like that's not really what the game is. That's just kind of the framework of the story.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, it was just kind of it was kind of hand-waved, the whole thing with that. And I'm sure at this point we'll probably go more into like spoiler territory. So if nobody wants to hear about what happens towards the very end of the game and to some characters, then we will just put a little warning here. Yeah, we get towards the end of the game and like all hell breaks loose with the Lumiose Tower. And it gets a lot more dire than I thought it would for a Pokemon game.
I was not expecting to have a battle against a kaiju building at the end of this game.
Just like, what is happening?
They sure make a big deal out of Lumiose Tower, and despite how much they make a big deal out of it, I did not see that coming.
Oh man, it's just one of those bits where I got a little bit peeved with the rival. Like, I know why they did the whole thing where, oh, whoever wins this battle is gonna take Floette to the very top and stop the tower from going crazy. And I thought this whole game was leading up to actually entering Lumiose Tower and exploring it and seeing what's in there and probably climbing up it. But then,
yeah,
I don't know, it feels like that moment was kind of robbed. I know that we were needed more so down on the grounds to stop the entire building from destroying Lumiose, but I don't know, I feel like the whole deal of like, we're gonna battle to see who is more worthy, and then you win, and then Tawny just goes up anyways. And
yeah,
I'm like,
it doesn't
okay.
matter. That felt like a weird narrative choice to me. I know we're used to solving our problems with Pokemon battles, and maybe they were trying to flip that on its head, but it didn't really land for me. It felt like Tawny or Urbane just wanted to be the hero, even though they weren't. It's giving Hop from Sword and Shield.
Yeah, that was I understand again like why they did that sort of thing, but because most of the actual stuff happening was on the ground floors with all the other main characters helping you out, making your way to the base of the tower so that you can team up with Zygarde, which I thought was really cool. That sequence was pretty awesome.
I also love the comedy of Tarragon and the construction company putting together like a scaffolding obstacle course during the apocalypse.
There's just there were so many humorous moments during this, and I feel like there should have been. When Corbeau made the ladder to the top of the building, did you jump off again?
I didn't know you could.
You guys jump off the building after they make the whole crazy scene of making the ladder in the first place. And Corbeau is like, "What do you mean you fell off?"
Did they do it again?
They do it again. He just yells at you when you don't do it.
This has to be one of the funniest Pokemon games.
Oh my god, I mean, I did a whole entire video on the weird things that the NPCs will say. Some of them have problems, unfortunately.
I mean,
and some of them are just hilarious.
What happens in Lumiose stays in Lumiose. That's why we can't leave.
Oh no.
But yeah, I agree with you. I love the spectacle of that final battle. Even if like what I was actually doing during the final battle wasn't all that interesting, just the scope and spectacle of it all was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that the game did kind of, I guess, lock in with the whole scenario, and you get little cameos beforehand of like Lysander from X and Y. Mm-hmm. That was an interesting appearance that he had made, and the connection to the story. I love how he essentially did the whole Zygarde cell quest himself in the background, so that we didn't have to do it, because that was a nightmare in the Alola region.
Thank you, Lysander. I didn't want to do that, so thank you for your patronage. We owe you one. Except for that one time you tried to destroy the world, but we'll forget that.
One time. It was one time.
Man. Just the shot in the background of Zygarde flying through the air, I was like, okay, they were cooking here. That's pretty cool.
We have gone full anime, especially when you achieved the Mega Evolution, I'm just like, oh my god, we're just gonna blast this thing with a cannon. It was incredible.
And things even got a little more heavy than I was expecting, after the battle's over.
Yeah.
Has Pokemon ever killed a person in a plot before?
I'm trying to think, and I'm like, not in the literal sense where you're at their grave. I don't think there is one, because I mean, there's concepts of death in Pokemon beforehand, all the way back to Gen 1 with Lavender Town, but we never really
usually
had this
the Pokemon
to
themselves, though, which is more morbid in some ways.
Yeah, that was surprising that after credits were suddenly in front of AZ's grave, and I'm just like, what? but why?
I feel like the game sets that up pretty well. I feel like they make it pretty clear that something's going to happen to him. But yeah, just cutting to his grave and him already being gone, and we're at his eulogy. I'm like, oh, okay, we went there.
We are fully there. Oh my gosh.
The game really commits too, because for all the nice things we say about AZ, he did some pretty horrible things.
Yeah.
So from a narrative perspective, having him he didn't really sacrifice himself necessarily, but having him come to rest eventually, I think was the right call for the story's sake.
Yeah, for those that followed the lore, for those that have he even explains during the story too a little bit, and for those that have been really keyed in ever since X and Y with his story, to see it come around and finally meet its conclusion here, that was heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, this is just the continuation of Pokemon locking the heck in with the finales of these games, because Scarlet and Violet. Oh, I guess we did deal with death just one game prior.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we just weren't aware of it in the moments.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought the finale of that game was incredible. The finale of Legends Arceus was really good. I'm glad that they're committing to going over the top with these. I haven't felt that way about a Pokemon finale since Black and White 1.
Right. Yeah, that one went really hard as well. It's just I feel for AZ. I know there's some sympathy because of what he's done, what he's gone through, but at the same time, he looked around for 3,000 years for Floettes and only got to spend 5 years with their friend.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
And then
but Floette's still here.
Yeah, Floette's hanging around. You can obtain Floettes if you do enough in the story after in the post game. So
I do have a bone to pick with that part of the game.
By all means.
We spend this whole game teetering around this mystery with Tawny and who she's looking for. And it ends kind of on a wet fart. I was sympathetic to the plot, but since we didn't get to really see any of it or get to know Tawny super well, it didn't feel all that impactful to me.
Yeah, I don't really consider Tawny or Urbane to be very high on the list of rivals in the past Pokemon games, but yeah, that sort of thing. I guess what gets me is that after all that, when you've done the entirety of the post game for the main game, not the DLC, is that they just become a CEO. I'm just like, are you sure, Jet? Is this what you want with this character?
Yeah, it sure is weird. I get it's her birthright or whatever, but that doesn't really seem like the kind of thing Tawny does.
It goes against their character.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's really odd.
I understand if they would be like, well, one day I need to train up and I need to focus in so I can be worthy of this position to have in the future. But they just kind of become the CEO on the spot. And I'm just like, what?
I also felt like another plot thread that was kind of dropped was like the resistance to the wild zones. I was fully expecting that by the end of the game there would be no wild zones and that the Pokemon would just live free in the city. But that doesn't happen. We never really talk about it again.
I guess that'd be too much for the Pokemon Company to work in mechanically, to just have all the areas have all Pokemon at all times.
For me, I guess it would have just been to turn off the barriers of the wild zones. You could still have the Pokemon be local to them. I don't know. It was just, I found that a little odd.
Yeah, there's some odd decisions towards the end. Like the whole wish thing for reaching rank A didn't really matter. It was just, I want the ZA Royale to continue, and that was it.
I legit got mad.
It's just like, really?
I was like, okay, fine, whatever. We're gonna pretend like this wish thing didn't ever matter.
I mean, overall, mechanically, I enjoyed the game for what it was. I probably enjoyed it more than most. I really get tied in with Pokemon games. I'm going to have a lot of hours on that whenever the delayed 2025 cap review comes in for my Switch 2 playtime. Even more so because I've been in the Mega Dimensions DLC, which we can probably talk a little bit about because... there's probably some people that still haven't gone all the way through. It is a bit grindy in that case.
Yeah, it is pretty grindy. Especially even after credits. Like, the grind just gets grindier, actually.
Oh.
I'll say this, like, after credits, I was definitely feeling a little burned out.
Yeah. I saw the requirements to keep going after credits. I'm just like, I'm gonna do other stuff for a while right now.
I thought the actual main part of the DLC was pretty good. I really liked going through the hyperspace Lumioses and struggling against these Pokemon that were just eating me alive. That there was a kind of challenge there that I have not felt in a Pokemon game for a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting because for Scarlet and Violet, anytime there was other DLC, even for Sword and Shield with the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, for example, whenever this DLC comes out, you can just take your main team that you've made for the main game and just kind of breeze through it without any kind of pushback, because they're all they're high level, but not so much that you're level 100 or anything. Or your level 100s aren't going against any other level 100s. But this kind of takes that off and turns it on its head, where you have level 150 to 200 Pokemon to contend with now. And they're all painful. I think your first interaction was a band of Mankey that pretty much curb stomped me when I jumped in.
My poor Feraligatr, I just watched him disappear. I was like, what? He's gone.
It was like that cartoon Cloud with all the things happening inside of it, when you do the play rough animation, but it was just them all beating up my Pokemon, and all the Mankey came out saying, all right, who's next?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that element of it, because it did feel dangerous, especially, because you're supposed to be doing those missions when you're in Hyperspace Lumiose to progress the story, much in the same way that it works in the main game. But instead of dealing with trainers, you're dealing with wild Pokemon. And sometimes catching a Pokemon without being caught can be really difficult when there's 74 Mankey staring you down. And if you let them get near you, you die. Some of those got really difficult for me. Sometimes I just had to forgo a mission because it was gonna be too difficult.
Oh man, did you find that quest with the 2 Crabominable, the Mega evolution of those?
And then I got reminded what it meant to be a baby.
They did not let me do anything. That is not a 2-star level. I recommend people to wait on that one, because unless you're a big Crabominable fan, that was scary.
That felt like the 2 bullies at the playground beating up the little kid. That was my experience. I could not believe just how succinctly and easily I got beaten. And it wasn't the only side quest that happened to me on. Some of those double battle side quests that we mentioned earlier, a few of those I went into and, like, it was down to the wire. Like, one more hit decided the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. That was me with that fight with a rematch with Corbeau and Philippe, and that one in particular. I don't know. They have less Pokemon, but the ones that they did bring out, like that was terrifying, and barely managed to squeeze it out and got the best outfit in the game from it.
I love that you can get their outfits if you do those quests. Once I got Eeyore's, I never took that off.
Oh my gosh, you just immediately get so buff with Eeyore's.
I was like,
it's
look
incredible.
how swole I am. But overall, I enjoyed the DLC. I am very critical of it being $30 though.
Yeah, same here.
In some ways, I feel like this DLC was the post game that they just took out. Because like with Arceus, I think I got like 80 hours out of Arceus before I hit 100%. And I didn't come anywhere near close to that with this game. And a lot of the content in the DLC, especially the side quests, a lot of those side quests are sequels to side quests in the base game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it feels a little scummy to siphon that part off. Like there's the one side quest with the lady, you find her ring in the cemetery. There's a really kind of sad and bittersweet follow-up to that in the DLC that I just, it's clear to me that it was planned to be separate from the beginning. And I don't know, that doesn't sit super well with me.
Yeah, it's a weird decision to make, and I just think back to when I'm trying to go through the main story. It's just side quest overload again. Every time you do a little bit of the story, there's just exclamation points popping up everywhere. Not all of them are very interesting to even do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are just a single battle or just retrieving a Pokemon. But some of them have fun scenarios, but for the most part, I just kind of glaze over a lot of them. And to see a lot of them reused in certain ways, it's just like, man, I don't know. The DLC was great. Well, quote unquote great. It depends how much you're into, the whole Pokemon collecting. It's a dream for shiny hunters as well, if you know how to do that. And yeah, it's just an interesting way to take it. Introduce some characters again, like Corinna, though. That was fun to see actual characters come back from the original X and Y. Yeah,
totally. I think it would have been an easier pill to swallow if it had been like $14.99.
I think so too.
Because there is a lot of game there. There is a lot of new Pokemon. I think there's over 100 added, which that's like that's a significant amount. That's like 50% more than the game already had.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of question that choice. I think the DLC is good, but I think your mileage will vary.
Yeah, if you really enjoyed the base game and you just have fun catching new Pokemon, training new Pokemon, shiny hunting, for example, I think you'll have a lot to do with this DLC. But if you casually went through Legends ZA, you feel like you had your fill by the end of the main game, then I would say you're probably good to not do this entire DLC, which is somewhat more of the same, just kind of stressful.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But it did introduce Ancha. She is a sweet little donut maker, and I would protect her with my life.
Dang it, they got me. Being the father of a 2-year-old, I was like, yep. I can't let anything happen to this child.
She's so like prim and posh and just wants to make her mother happy by catching a legendary Pokemon,
in a very extreme way.
Just usual, 6-year-old stuff, I guess.
But yeah, she's a great addition to the cast. And the DLC does take place after the end of the game, so like it does feel like the adventure continues, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes me wonder if they're gonna do anything to continue this onward from here. Because I don't know, Pokemon tends to really support the games long after they've released in certain different areas. Like the seasons of battle for the multiplayer is going to keep going for quite a bit. So you can get cool rewards from it. Unfortunately, that's how you get some Mega Evolution stones that not everybody can get, because not everybody has online to do so.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of upsetting. But I think for the most parts, it's a pretty good package. Like
They also did add DLC quests via mystery gift that were free. Like there was the Diancie and then the Project M for Mewtwo.
It was funny because like those are very short, but it is cool to see that they can still like add Pokemon like this in the future too.
But the one with Mewtwo like even calls back to X and Y. Like it makes sense that happens, which I thought was neat.
They even play the same song that is in that too, which is like a callback to the original Red, Blue, Yellow theme song when you fight a wild Pokemon. I thought that was really cool how they did that.
This Mewtwo fled from the Kanto region to Kalos. We don't really know why he's here, but here he is. And apparently the trainer from 5 years ago didn't catch him, and the trainer 20 years before that didn't catch him either, so good luck.
No problem, right? But yeah, if there's anything else about Pokemon Legends ZA that you wanted to bring up real quick, now is the time.
Banger music. I do wish it changed a little bit more than it does, but still what we have is really good.
I would chill in the Hotel Z for a long time just to have that very smooth soundtrack in the background, which I'm probably playing in the background right now too, for this video. But no, I had a lot of fun with that, with the new songs. A lot of cool songs introduced with this as well. Remixes of the old ones, and just overall, it's just... I enjoy this more than most, I think. I feel like I enjoyed the whole package a bit more, but I'm also easy to please as a Pokemon fan since playing Yellow on my Game Boy Color way back in the day.
I think I'm typically a bit more critical of Pokemon games because, like, I'm a fan of the franchise, right? But I've never been like a super fan of the Pokemon games necessarily. But for me, like, it doesn't quite hit the high of Arceus for me. But I explained that earlier. I think it was great though. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, overall, like, I still wish that the DLC could have introduced something like actually exploring more open areas. I would think it was primed to set up for that. Instead, you're exploring like the monochromatic version of Lumiose City in different spaces.
Well, it's funny because like they're clearly aware because there's a couple teases in there of being outside.
Yeah, there sure is. And
one in particular was almost offensive to me.
I was just like, please.
Let me out.
Oh, I want to be free again. But I don't know. Curious to see if any of these ideas that we've seen here makes it into the 10th generation, going up to the next Pokemon anniversary next year.
Yeah, I hope so too. If there's anything that they could bring back from Arceus that I'd like to see again, let me take out all of my Pokemon at once. I really liked doing that. Even though
you could sit at a bench and do that.
Yeah, but I want to do it myself.
Yeah, that's like the one other thing I'll say before we wrap up is like I love how the Legends series kind of puts more of a focus on the Pokemon themselves and how they integrate with people. Like in Legends Arceus, everyone's scared of Pokemon. Like you're one of the trainers to help incorporate how everybody interacts with Pokemon, and they're less scared of them, how they can kind of help each other instead. And then in Legends ZA, they're all just kind of hanging out together. So many people have their partner Pokemon just walking around with them, and it's fun to see that kind of progression happen in the story.
Yeah, I love that. I wish some of the side quests were a little closer to the ones in Arceus, where like you get to see a real living change take place. But still good.
Yeah. And with that, I think that is all we have, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, for listening to us ramble about Pokemon Legends ZA for like an hour long. I keep I keep getting us into these hour-long discussions, Brandon. I don't know how it keeps happening.
I mean, we have a lot to say, apparently.
I needed to talk about this and in the other discussion we have coming up too, if it hasn't already gone out since this one. But yeah, if you want to tune into those, please stay tuned to GVG for more on discussions, features, news updates, and all the like of everything within the realm of video games. Thanks again so much, and we will see you in the next year. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Till we meet again.
Bye-bye.